friends. I am Anuradha Sharma, Professor LJ College of Computer Applications, Vastrapur, Ahmedabad. Today's session is on deadlocks, and we'll be discussing what is a deadlock, what causes a deadlock, then the type of resources which are involved in a deadlock, and then finally what are the necessary conditions for a deadlock to occur. Coming to deadlocks, this is a simple English word which means a situation of standstill or a situation of no progress. Now, when we say a situation of a standstill, the first thing which comes to our mind is probably a situation of a traffic jam, which we very commonly face. The traffic jam is the most common example of a deadlock. Why is a traffic jam considered to be a situation of a deadlock? Now, we must have all noticed at some point of time that when we are stuck in a traffic jam, everything comes to a standstill. The traffic is at one location stranded, and there is no way that any vehicle can move out of that. So that is a situation of a standstill or a situation of no progress, wherein no vehicle can move further in any other direction. Another example of a deadlock is a very narrow staircase. Now, when I say a very narrow staircase, it basically means a staircase wherein at one particular step, only one person can stand. Now, the diagram that you are seeing, a person is coming down the stairs and another person is walking up the stairs. Now, they both happen to meet at a particular point wherein the person who is coming down cannot go further down and the person who is going up cannot move further up, because none of these two people are ready to retreat, go back, so that they can give the place to the other person to continue walking up or walking down the stairs. So this is again a situation of a deadlock. Two very interesting examples of a deadlock I would like to consider over here. The first is, it takes money to make money. That sounds very interesting. If I have money, I can make money. But to make that money, I need money. I don't have money, I cannot make money. So this is again a situation of a deadlock. Another very interesting example is that when we go for a job, we are told you can't get a job without experience. You can't get experience without a job. This is again a condition of a deadlock. If I need a job, I need experience. But for that experience, I need a job. I don't have a job. I don't have an experience. Another situation of a deadlock. So these were few real life examples of a deadlock. Now, when we talk about deadlocks, it involves resources and processes. Now, what is a resource? A resource is something that can be used for a purpose. Like, for example, if I consider in this room, the air conditioner is a resource, my laptop is a resource, the table is a resource. So anything which can be used for a purpose is a resource. In a computer system, every device connected to a computer is a hardware resource. Files, the programs, they're all considered to be the software resources. Now, a resource is when we talk about deadlocks and when we depict a deadlock using a resource allocation graph, which we will be coming to later on. A resource is always shown in a small rectangular box, something like this. Now coming to what is a process, the second thing which is involved in a deadlock. A process is an active unit of work, or we can say it is a job under execution. Now, to be very precise, if I want to record a video session on deadlocks, it is a job. But the moment I start the recording, my job is under execution and that becomes a process. So a process is basically an active unit of work, and in a resource allocation graph, a process is shown as a circle. Now when we allocate a resource to a process, it is shown something like this. The arrow indicates that this resource is allocated to process P1. R1 is allocated to P1. The other way around, we can have it this way also. And when we request for a resource, when a process requests for a resource, it can be shown this way. The arrow is towards the resource when we are requesting for the resource. So this, I hope it's very clear that when a resource is allocated, the arrow is towards the process, and when a resource is requested, the arrow is towards the request. Now, we just talked about what is a process and what is a resource. Relating these two terms with the common examples that I had given, the staircase example and the traffic jam example. The staircase example, the situation of a deadlock, resources is the staircase. The staircase is a resource, and the process is the two people climbing up or climbing down the stairs. This is process 1 and this is the second process 2. Considering the traffic jam example, here the resource is the road on which the traffic is moving or is in a deadlock situation. And the process is the moving buses and the cars are the process, the different processes. Now, after understanding what are deadlocks in real life situations, let us come to deadlocks in a computer system. So here also the meaning remains the same. It is a situation of a standstill where jobs have resources and are waiting for other resources to continue their execution. And the resources for which they are waiting, those resources are allocated to some other process. Consider this diagram over here. Here we have two resources, resource 1 and resource 2. We have two processes, process 1 and process 2. Now this situation is a deadlock. Why? Over here, resource 1 is assigned to or allocated to process 1. So process 1 has resource 1. And process 1 at the same time, it requests or it is waiting for resource 2. Now this resource 2 is assigned to process P2. This process P2 in turn is waiting for another resource, that is resource 1. Now this process P2 does not get resource 1 because resource 1 is with process 1. And process 1 cannot release resource 1 because it needs resource 2 to finish its execution. Resource 2 is not available for process 1 because it is with process 2. And this continues. That is what is a situation of a deadlock. Here, this is entirely in a deadlock situation where two resources and two processes are involved. So this is a situation of complete standstill. Now, when we draw a resource allocation graph, this basically is a resource allocation graph which shows us the allocation of the resources to the various processes in the system. Now, in this resource allocation graph, deadlock situation always will have a cyclic formation. Now, what do we mean by a cyclic formation? Something like this. This is a cyclic formation. And if we go by the arrows, we can see that it's a complete cycle. So until unless in a resource allocation graph, we don't have the cyclic formation, there is no deadlock. But if ever in a resource allocation graph, we want to find out whether a deadlock exists or not, we have to go by the arrows. And if the arrows form a cyclic formation, then it is a definite situation of a deadlock. Now we will see what are the type of resources which cause a deadlock. So basically, the resources are involved in a deadlock, that is clear. We have two things involved in a deadlock, a resource and a process. So the type of the resources which are involved in a deadlock are basically two. First, the resource has to be a non-shareable resource, and secondly, it has to be a non-preemptible resource. So let us see what do we exactly mean by the resources being non-shareable and non-preemptible, and how can these cause a deadlock. So we are very much aware by now of what is the situation of a deadlock. This is a situation of a deadlock. And here, both the resources R1 and R2 are non-shareable and non-preemptible. Now, first of all, let us see what is basically a non-shareable resource, which is causing a deadlock. Over here, if I just consider one of the resources, say the resource R1, this is a non-shareable resource, which means that at a particular point of time, this resource can only be used by one of the processes, either process P1 or process P2. Now, in this situation, this resource R1 is allocated to P1. So once it is allocated to P1, it cannot be shared with any other process. So it cannot be shared by another process, which is P2. Now let us over here understand how a non-shareable resource causes a deadlock. Let us make this resource R1 as a shareable resource. Now once when we make this resource R1 as a shareable resource, this can be allocated to process P1 and P2 at the same time. Something like this. Here we are seeing that this resource R1 is allocated to P2 as well as P1. So it is being shared at the same time with two different processes. So here in this situation, there is no cyclic formation. We don't have any cyclic formation over here. See, if I go by the arrows, this arrow, it stops over here. It doesn't go further. So there is no cyclic formation, which indicates there is no situation of a deadlock. So over here, we are seeing that if I remove a resource, if I remove the shareability of a resource, I can make, that means if I make a resource shareable, I can come out of the situation of a deadlock. Now, the next thing is a non-preemptible resource which causes a deadlock. Non-preemptible resource basically is a resource which cannot be taken away in between the execution. So, if I consider a situation of a deadlock over here, this resource R1 is non-preemptible. That means I cannot take away this resource from a particular process. Now, this resource R1 is with P1, right? This has been allocated to P1, and over here, this resource R2 is allocated to P2. And this is a complete situation of a deadlock because none of the resources is preemptible. That means I cannot take away R1 from P1 and give it to P2, or I cannot take R2 from P2 and give it to P1. Right? So this is a complete situation of a deadlock. Now to understand again this concept, let us move further and understand the situation wherein I can make this resource R1 be a preemptible resource. That means I can take away R1 from the process P1. So if I can take away R1 from P1, see over here R1 is allocated to P1 and P2 is requesting for R1. So over here, suppose if I preempt this resource R1 from P1, that means I take away R1 from P1, this R1 will be free and I can give it to P2. Something like this. I take away R1 from P1 and I allocate it to P2. So over here, this resource R1, if it becomes a preemptible resource, I can take away the resource from a particular process and give it to some other process which is requesting for the resource. And again, I can come out of a deadlock situation. See over here, I have allocated this to P2 and I come out of the deadlock situation because here also there is no cyclic formation. If I go by the arrows again, I can't complete one cycle over here, which indicates that there is no deadlock. So if my resources are preemptible resources, that means if I can take away a resource in between the execution from a process, I can make it a preemptible resource, and using a preemptible resource does not cause a deadlock to happen. So these are the two examples that we have discussed of how to make the resources shareable and preemptible so that we can avoid having a deadlock. Now coming to the next topic, that is the conditions for a deadlock to occur. So as we are all aware, deadlocks involve processes and resources, but for a deadlock to occur, we have to have the following four conditions. The first is the condition of mutual exclusion. Second is the condition of resource holding. Third, no preemption, and the fourth one is a circular wave condition. So let us go with the first one, that is mutual exclusion. Now, when I say that for a deadlock to occur, these four conditions are necessary. That means a deadlock occurs if there is mutual exclusion, which means that the resource is mutually exclusive. Now, when we say that a resource is mutually exclusive, it means that this resource can be accessed by only one process at a particular point of time. That means if I have resource R1 then this resource R1 can only be allocated to P1 process. It cannot be allocated to P2 at the same time. So here if I make R1 only allocated to P1, this means that this resource R1 is mutually exclusive. And because it is mutually exclusive, a deadlock occurs over here. So now let us see that what happens if I don't make R1 mutually exclusive. That means R1 can be with two processes at the same time. So there is no mutual exclusion over here for the resource R1. Now consider this over here. Here I have made R1 as not mutually exclusive. That means R1 can be shared, and this we have already discussed, that if I share R1 with these two processes P1 and P2, then there is no situation of a deadlock because there is no cyclic formation over here. So if I remove a resource, if I say that a resource is not mutually exclusive, then there is no situation of a deadlock. Coming to the second situation which causes a deadlock, that is resource holding. A deadlock occurs if there is resource holding. This means that a process, it holds a resource and it requests for another resource which is held by some other process and hoping that it would release that particular resource. Let us see how this works. Over here, we have a process P1 which has a resource R1 allocated to it. Now this process P1, it holds R1. That is why we call it resource holding. P1 holds R1 and it requests for R2. Now R2 is with P2, but process P1 hopes that P2 will retreat. Retreat basically means it will stop its execution. It will release R2, which can be taken up by P1. And once P1 has R1 and R2, it can continue the execution. But this is not happening over here. Here, resource holding is basically happening over here because P1 holds R1 and is requesting for R2, which is there with P2. And P2 is not retreating, it is not releasing R2. So it's a complete situation of a deadlock over here. Now let us remove this possibility of resource holding and see what happens. Now if I remove the possibility of resource holding, that means what? That P2 retreats. Now if P2 retreats over here, it will release R2 over here. P2 retreats, that means it goes away from the system, it releases the resources. Now if P2 releases R2, R2 can be allocated to P1. And P1 now has both R1 and R2 and it can peacefully continue the execution. There is no deadlock. P1 can finish the execution and be out of the system. So no deadlock occurs if there is no resource holding. The third cause for a deadlock is no preemption. So a deadlock occurs when a resource cannot be preempted. As we've already discussed this, that means the resource cannot be taken away from the process in between the execution. So if it cannot be taken away, it cannot be given to any other process. Again, considering the same example over here, this is a situation of a deadlock and this occurred because none of the resources R1 or R2 are preemptible resources. Now over here, let us now remove the condition of no preemption and see how can we avoid a situation of a deadlock. Now see, if I make the resource as a preemptible resource, that means what? R2 can be preempted from P2. R2 can be preempted from P2 means R2 resource can be temporarily taken away from P2. Now if R2 can be temporarily taken away from P2, it can be allocated to P1. So here we have preempted R2 from P2 and given it to P1. Again, there is no situation of a deadlock, no cyclic formation over here. So if I make my resources as preemptible resources, I can come out of the situation of a deadlock. And the fourth one is a circular wait. Now all the three conditions, that is, first is mutual exclusion, second resource holding, and the third condition of no preemption. If all these three conditions are there, it leads to the fourth condition of circular wait. Now over here, this is a circular wait where each process P1 and P2, which is involved in the deadlock, is waiting for another process to release a resource. Over here, P1, it waits for the resource R2, which is there allocated to P2. P2 has R2, it is requesting for R1, which is allocated to P1. P1 is again requesting for R2, and this cycle continues. And this is what is a circular wait condition. So all these 4 conditions are required for a deadlock to occur. If any of these conditions can be prevented from occurring, we can easily come out of the situation of a deadlock. We can easily prevent a deadlock from happening. Thank you so much.